Welcome to this bonus episode of HuntStand's Deer Dirt. We're standing out here, I'm standing out here in a blizzard on Halloween, so I'm not going to be doing any trick-or-treating tonight. This is some pretty nasty weather, but we're right on the front, the corner of when the best whitetail hunting is going to take place this season. I always like that first week of November, leading up to the 7th, plus or minus a couple of days, right around the 7th is my favorite time of the year. So we're approaching that now. So the key thing is being in the right place at the right time. And in the past couple of episodes, I've been talking about when to hunt, where to hunt, and I want to dig a little bit deeper into this topic of when to hunt. There's a feature on the HuntStand app called the Whitetail Forecast. So I'm going to pop that up, and I'm going to take you along with a little bit of screen video from my cell phone, but mostly I'm going to use video from my computer. It's a lot easier to see. It's full screen on the computer, and you can get it on the desktop app, on your laptop app, as well as on your handheld. So let's dive into it. It starts with your hunt area. So you pick the spot that you're hunting, the area that you're most interested in, and when you click into that, it automatically syncs all the data for weather and whitetail deer activity, rut timing, all of that to that region. This data is all very geographically specific. Brian Murphy put this app together, or this feature together of the Whitetail Forecast, using data that's historical through the years, having to do with rut timing and the correlation between deer movement and environmental factors like temperature, barometric pressure, rising versus falling barometer, humidity, wind speed, all of that factors into determining the best deer movement, deer activity times. So that's what this is all about. So let's pull up to the first page. It's got my the Winke farm hunt area, and it shows today's predictions first. So it's saying that the rut intensity is at 100%, that we are at the peak time within the rut itself. So now it's just a question of, within each day, what are the peak movement times within those days corresponding to the rut phase, and then these other environmental factors that I was talking about, the weather and related data. And then it comes up with a score. And the score is not a percentage chance for success, because it shows 84% at 8 a.m. this morning. That doesn't mean I have an 84% chance of shooting a buck at 8 a.m. this morning. I mean, that would be if I could get an app that would do that for me, I would pay an awful lot of money for it. All it's doing is telling you the percentage of correlation between the data. Like 100% would be all of the data lines up, all of the rut phase data, all of the environmental weather-related data, it all lines up to give you this perfect chance. That's 100%. So anything less than that is going to be, like a grade of how these factors affect movement. So it's 84% this morning. It's an 87% at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and I'm going to be out there. I don't know why, but I'm going to be out there weathering this storm. Well, let's look at that. Well, I'll come back to the weather. Let's stick with the prediction data. So then it goes on to give you a week's worth of the correlation between these factors that influence movement. So today's Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, it shows a 91% chance at 8 a.m. 91% correlation, not 91% chance. 8 a.m. tomorrow. 88 in my area on Thursday at 8 a.m. and then Friday at 5 p.m. It's a little bit lower in the 70s, back in the 80s as the week goes on. So you get the idea. And then on Tuesday, it's the highest for this whole coming week. It shows a 95% correlation that would relate to the peak deer movement. So that's going to be a really, really good score for maximum deer movement. And that's the November 7th time frame that I'm talking about. So I mean, it's my favorite time of the year anyway. It says 4 o'clock p.m. is when all the environmental factors line up to create the best chance for movement. So that's the actual activity forecast. There's another screen we can pull up here that has the various charts that you can look at. And this goes even deeper, more detail. It shows the scores, and you can scroll through it day by day, and it shows, hour by hour what those correlation scores are. But then it also has another chart that shows the temperature, the average versus the actual. It shows dew point. I don't really know how dew point affects anything related to whitetails, but it's information you can look at. I do know how temperature affects movement, and that's super important. And it shows that over the coming few days, the coming 7 days, that my temperatures are all going to be at or below the seasonal average for this time of the year. The next chart down is the wind speed and wind direction. And I know all about wind speed right now. I'm going to see what the app says. It says 20 some miles per hour, is that right? Yeah, it's every bit of that. 20 miles an hour out of the northwest with gusts to 33. So that's this afternoon for me. And as we go on into the week, of course, it shows the varying wind speed. So this is a really nice app to help you predict weather conditions, and it shows barometric pressure, so you can keep track of when it's going up and down. And some people really focus in on the periods of high barometric pressure, especially when the barometric pressure is rising. That's a kind of a green light for quite a few people. And again, it goes on to give other details like precipitation chances and cloud cover. Now, the main thing you take away on this data is not it's not the gospel, because you're going to see other factors, like you're going to see stresses that the deer have in your specific area. Maybe your property doesn't have a lot of food sources, so the deer move a little bit more aggressively towards food. So you might see different, movement than what somebody else might see, in another area at the same time of the year. But what it does give you is one more set of data that allows you to make decisions between, let's say, one day or another, if you have to pick specific vacation days, or maybe you can only hunt the morning or the afternoon, and you're trying to decide, do I hunt, tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, because I have some chores I have to get done at home. It's just one more set of data that helps you make those decisions. And I'm going to hunt every day that I can, every chance that I can. But if I do have to work, where I have to take an afternoon or a morning off, I'm going to take a quick peek at this activity report and see how it aligns. Because again, it's based on environmental data, weather, and historical rut data. And Brian spent a lot of time putting that together, so it's at least it's at least worth taking into consideration when making those decisions. Well, I'm going to go and get into a blind. I'm not going to sit in a tree when the wind chill is 0 degrees or whatever it is out here right now. But I hope this was helpful to you. This is the second to last episode of Deer Dirt. This was supposed to have been, well, we usually go 2 weeks between episodes. Well, we pulled up this bonus episode just to give you something to think about as you're timing your hunts going into November. But there'll be one more coming up, and that'll be it for the season. I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you right back here in another week for the next episode of HuntStand's Deer Dirt.